What's up? I'm gonna do a little Q&A video about music. Pretty excited. I've never really been able to do a Q&A because I've never really tried to do it, and I guess, it was pretty exciting to see enough comments to actually do a video that'll be a significant length. So yeah, it's exciting. My first Q&A, and this one is about music, which is pretty interesting to me because music has become a pretty big part of my life. But a few years ago, like freshman year of high school, my friend Jacob asked me what kind of music I listen to, and my answer was, I don't listen to music. It is a pretty new thing in my life, relatively. Before that, I just listened to whatever was on the radio or whatever, this station 93.3 in Colorado. So yeah, it's pretty new for me to be into music, but it has become a pretty big part of my life since then. So I'll give you a little run through of my musical history. My first concert, I don't know what year it was, but probably 2012, somewhere around there, was Green Day. That was the first concert I went to, and that was super awesome for me. Green Day was one of the bands that I really liked even as a kid. So that was awesome. Went to their 21st Century Breakdown show. So that was really awesome. And since then, I have been to, I don't even know, countless shows, probably over 100, I would say. Most of them local shows. A lot of my friends are in bands or have been in bands. Been to Aiden's band, Postcards, a lot of times. Seen them out of state a few times. I was actually in a band with Aiden called Little Car for a while. So I've played in shows. We went on two pretty successful small tours, and by successful I mean we basically got a free road trip out of it. We sold enough tickets and merch to pay for gas, which I think is successful. We got to go on a mini vacation for free, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, I've been to quite a few bigger concerts. I've never been to a really huge concert. It's always been Green Day was the biggest one I've been to, but yeah, I've been to quite a few mid-level and a lot of local shows, so that has been really cool. And that's pretty much where my friend group in high school and stuff came from. I still have a pretty weird relationship with music, I think. I don't tend to go look for new stuff very often. I find albums that I really like, and I just listen to those pretty much on repeat. So yeah, my top few albums that I've been listening to for years and that I just keep coming back to, some of them are new, but mainly just the ones that really have had a huge impact on my life, just have kind of shaped me into the kind of artist I want to be and the kind of person that I want to be. Those albums are, in no particular order, the 1975 self-titled album. That one just blew my mind when I first listened to it, and I've listened to it a lot since then, and their other music too, but that one in particular. Third Eye Blind, self-titled as well. I think that's the best album of all time. I think it's just the perfect album. If you haven't listened to Third Eye Blind, go listen to that album. It's perfect. Also, let's see, Get Lonely and All Hail West Texas by the Mountain Goats. Both of those are just flawless. They're amazing. That's the kind of music I would want to write when I get into writing music. And I mean, the Mountain Goats are just amazing, and they've been around for a long time. And they actually just put out a song yesterday, I think yesterday or the day before, which was crazy. So yeah, I love the Mountain Goats. Also, No Closer to Heaven by the Wonder Years. The Wonder Years was like pretty much the first band that I really got into once I started, like I said, in high school, started listening to music more. Aiden actually told me that was his favorite band, and I was like, well, I'm looking for music to listen to, I'll listen to that. And they had 2 or 3 albums out at that point, and they've come out with 3 more, I think. And yeah, I mean, that was my second tattoo, was a Wonder Years tattoo. Like, they just really spoke to me in high school especially, but then yeah, that album in particular, No Closer to Heaven, I listened to that when I was in England for the first time, and I was like when I came back from England, I was planning on going to the Navy, and this album pretty much, I would say, had the hugest impact on my life of any album, or at least like my life changed the most while I was listening to that album. So like when I listen to it again, I remember those times, whether it was like a direct result of it or just things were changing at the same time as me listening to that album. Yeah, that one really has a close place in my heart. As for favorite artists on top of that, besides ones that have made up my favorite albums, Post Malone for sure. He's a pretty recent, relatively recent find for me. I started listening to him 2 years ago, I think. But yeah, I love everything he puts out. I think he's a musical genius and also just a really cool dude. Who else? More recently, I've been getting into the Beatles. Obviously, I was talking about that the other day, and Queen. Obviously, both of those basically created the genre of rock and roll. So yeah, I've been really enjoying listening to all of their music. And then from like the pop punk genre, the one that pretty much was my entry point into music, like I said, I didn't really do any super deep dives. I found albums and stuck with them, but the Front Bottoms, Have Mercy, and like Citizen, there's one other one, State Champs. Those ones, like, listening to throughout high school and like just after high school, really had an impact on the way I like thought about things, I think. So yeah, all those ones are definitely ones that I always go back to, and I think about that time of my life, and yeah, they're really important to me. Not to mention like Postcards, and yeah, I mean, everything that Aiden puts out was just really close to my heart, because we had a very like similar high school experience, I think, and he wrote songs about it, so that was really cool to be a part of. Alright, now I'm going to go into some questions from you guys that you left in the comments of my video the other day. Starting with Emily Matthews. She says, do you make music yourself at all? Learning an instrument is a really rewarding experience. And yes and no. I've written quite a few songs lyrically. I like mess around with like melodies and stuff like that, just like whistling, but I've never really by myself like put together a full song. And I've messed around on the bass. I played bass in Little Car, but I don't classically know how. Aiden would just tell me what to play and I would play it. And guitar, I've also messed around a little bit. I have very base knowledge of guitar and piano, like extremely base. Like I wouldn't even say that I know how to play, but I know a tiny little bit about guitar and piano. But yeah, I do write lyrically sometimes, and I think my brain works in a very musical way. I just haven't put in the time and energy to learn how to play a lot of instruments. In middle school, I played trumpet. I've also played saxophone for a little while, violin for a little while. And then Cindy, my aunt, asked what my favorite Beatles songs so far are, and I really have to listen more through, but I'll give you a little bit of what my favorite ones are at the moment. For one, the whole album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, is, I love it, but Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, that was the first one that I was just like, whoa, no wonder the Beatles were the Beatles. Within You, Without You, that one's great. Let's see, I'm gonna just go through the Beatles songs, and Twist and Shout, I mean, obviously everyone has heard that one's a classic. Money, That's What I Want, I like that one. Also, You Never Give Me Your Money. She Came In Through the Bathroom Window, With a Little Help from My Friends. What else? There was another one that I just found. And Strawberry Fields Forever. Pretty much all of their, like, the first half of their discography on Spotify is what I've, like, mostly listened to so far. And yeah, I mean, it's just awesome. And then obviously some of their bigger hits from later on I've heard, but not everything yet. So yeah, I'm really into the older stuff so far right now with the Beatles. Extreme Skills TV asks, do I listen to hip hop? No, not really. I don't seek it out very much, but when someone else plays it, I usually enjoy it. I haven't listened to like a wide range. Definitely not a lot of older hip hop. But yeah, I like it when I listen to it. I just don't really seek it out. Will Streets asks, are you more likely to like a song for its lyrics or its instrumentation? Almost 100% of the time it's the lyrics. Usually what I will do when like listening to a new album for the first time is I'll listen through the whole album, and then either like right away or the next time I listen to it, I'll listen to it and read the lyrics from Google or whatever. And yeah, the lyrics are really what speak to me in a song 90% of the time. But obviously some songs are extremely moving without lyrics, and I like those a lot too. Off the top of my head, a lot of the 1975 music is like very reliant on like ambient sounds and synths and all sorts of instrumentation that is really moving, but they're also amazing at writing lyrics. So I think both for me, but mainly lyrics is what speaks to me in a song. And then he also asks, do you play any instruments? Kind of already answered that earlier. Kind of, not really. And then finally, MRK asks, opinions on genius artists as David Bowie and Michael Jackson. I haven't really listened to either of them. I do think that both of those people were genius artists, or produced genius level artwork. And yeah, my opinion on that is, I don't know. I think that when someone can like take a genre and completely change it, or just not do what the pop culture is doing, even though that their music is very poppy, it was because they made it pop, basically. So yeah, I think that both of those people were, yeah, I mean, incredible musicians and artists in general. Yeah, I just haven't really listened to too much of them, so I don't have a very fleshed out opinion on that. But yeah, I think there are quite a few geniuses in like every generation, especially like in their own field, like music. I mean, obviously, the Beatles and Queen are kind of in that same vein, like completely creating a new genre or changing a genre. But I also think like more contemporary, I really do believe the 1975 like Matty Healy, but the band as a whole is genius. I think Post Malone is a genius. Even if you don't really appreciate that kind of music, he's doing the same thing, which is not playing by the rules of how everyone says music is supposed to be. So I think that's really what makes the difference between a really good artist and a genius artist, in my opinion. So that's pretty much all I got for a music Q&A, but it's really fun to do a little Q&A video. So yeah, let me know if you want me to do more of these in the future. I know I would definitely like to. It's fun having a more intimate, I guess, conversation with the commenters. That's the whole reason why I wanted to do YouTube, was to make friends and whatnot through the comments. And yeah, so it's been cool. And yeah, let me know in the comments your answers to any of those questions, your favorite artists and bands and albums and whatnot. So yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out.